What's up, guys? Today we'll be reviewing the Myo from Thalmic Labs. I have one on my arm right here. Thalmic is a lab out of Canada that's doing something different when it comes to wearables. So now let's see the product hype video from the company. Now to what the Myo does. The Myo is a gesture control armband that you wear on the upper part of your arm. It has electromyography sensors that determine the electrical energy that comes off your muscles as you make gestures. It also has sensors that detect the motion of your arm. So if you twist your arm, it detects that. And you combine all that and you get an armband that uses gestures to give you new ways to interact with technology. And so my take here, first off, this is not an iPad. Now with iPads, you look at them, you pull them out of the box, you can use them right away. The Myo takes getting used to. There's some tricks with it that if you're somebody who's a little afraid of technology and a little kind of hesitant, it may not be for you. First off, the thing with it is that you have to have a Myo on the right place on your arm and you have to give it time to warm up. Because the sensors have to warm to the muscles in your arm, and that makes sense. But if you don't, and that's where I think people struggle, then you can get a Myo that doesn't sync correctly or gestures that aren't exactly right. Another thing with the Myo that I'm really hoping comes more in the future, and I kind of know it is, they've kind of said that Sphero's coming and there's all kinds of apps for iOS that are coming, is really Thalmic. iOS has not really been a real game changer for them just yet. There's only a couple iOS apps in the App Store. There's a music app, there's a GoPro app, there is a game, and there's another media controller app. And so really one of the things I'd really like to see Thalmic add is a lot more controls for iOS. There's a lot of us who are Apple users, and so I know that process is difficult and that process takes time to get through the App Store, but adding iOS apps is going to be a really great add for Myo. Now, one of its super huge positives is this thing is going to be able to connect to lots and lots of devices. There are not many devices that go across platform, even into things like robotics. And so the Myo, it already connects to Mac, Windows, iOS, Android easily. But what they're going to add is they're going to add things like GoPros, they're going to add things like AR drones, they're going to add Sphero, home automation. There's all kinds of options with the Myo. I just saw a game they added today that the intent is for that to go with the Oculus Rift. And so there's lots of things you can do with the Myo, and really there aren't a lot of devices out there that are multi-platform. Now, one of my other favorite things with the Myo is presentations. This thing is going to be a beast in presentations. I don't know where it is in the kind of consumer version. I'm actually in a beta group with them testing their new presentation features, but some of the features are just fantastic. It makes it easy to change slides. You're going to have an easy laser pointer. You can be anywhere in the room. You're going to be able to zoom in easy. And I think the other thing is they're going to add annotations pretty soon to this setup too. And think about it, if they add annotations to the Myo, if you can annotate with your arm, that is going to be a game changer in a lot of places, a lot of meetings, and a lot of classrooms. Another thing it's really, really good at right now is media control. Mayo really controls, especially if you're on your computer, it controls Netflix really well, it controls iTunes really well. So if you're trying to switch between all those and you're trying to watch movies, you're trying to listen to music, the Mayo is a really easy way to control that by hand gestures. The Mayo Music app on iOS works really well most of the time. Sometimes it's a little tough to get it to connect and read the correct gestures, but when the Mayo's really warmed up, it works great. So think about it for like a long car ride. You're sitting there, you don't ever have to look at your phone. So really, I think this thing has made me safer in my car. Another thing they've added really recently that I really love is keyboard mapping. Originally, the Mayo, you had to have a connector, and the connectors gave you certain gestures on your computer. Now they've added the ability where you can actually map gestures to keys on your keyboard and the mouse click. So you can control your computer and map gestures the way you want, and you can kind of customize it for you. And I think that's a great thing. Now, overall, this is an education tool. I think the Mayo is going to be a really down the line, it's going to be a game changer in the classroom. I think at this point, it's for speakers, it's for the really tech savvy in the classroom. I wouldn't give it to a teacher who doesn't use technology at all, is very scared of technology. Really, the Mayo, where it's going to be really great in a classroom is that it gives a teacher mobility. Think about going and being able to move around your classroom as you control all of your presentations. You can control Nearpods, you can control interactive content like Kahoot. All of that stuff is coming. And eventually, if they add annotations to the presentation mode, really, you don't need interactive whiteboards because you could be able to annotate from anywhere in the room. And that's going to be that, if that capability comes, that's a game changer.